from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Joining to you live from the National News Studios, this is the National News Broadcast. I'm Malsha Dharmavardhana together with Dishan Veerakon. Ranjin granted a conditional presidential pardon. The president says security forces should be armed with technological knowledge. Japan prepares to organize a summit of Sri Lanka's creditors. Several countries relax travel restrictions imposed on Sri Lanka. Petroleum Distributors Association says that the reason for fuel queues again is not receiving sufficient quantity of fuel. More than 900 die and 200,000 displaced due to floods in Pakistan. On to those and other stories in detail now, starting with your local stories. Former State Minister Ranjin Ramanaika, who was serving a prison term for contempt of court, was released today.
Now, a large number of people was present outside the Valikada prison to welcome him when he came out. Now, he has been given a conditional presidential pardon for which President Ranil Wickremesinghe signed today. Former State Minister Ranjin Ramanaika, who received a presidential pardon, came out of the Valikada prison this afternoon. A large group of people, including opposition leaders Sajith Premadasa, Minister Manusha Nanayakara, public representatives and artists were present to welcome him. Former State Minister Ranjin Ramanaika said that he likes to come back into politics and be of service to the public after an election. He thanked President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa for his freedom. Mr. Ramanaika said that an assurance was taken from him to continue with the anti-corruption fight before signing his release. He said that he was given permission to continue the process of catching thieves. He thanked everyone who helped to get his freedom, including his fans.
දූෂණ විරෝධී සටන දිගටම ගෙනිනවා කියලා පොරොන්දුනොත් විතරයි සමාව ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ කට්ටිය කැමති ඇති මම හොරු අල්ලනවාට. ඒක දිගටම කරන් යන අවසරය ලැබුණා. මේ සමාව ලබා ගන්නට මුල සිටම උදව් කළ ජනාධිපති රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා, ඒ වගේම විජේදාස රාජපක්ෂ බන්ධනාගාර හා පුනරුත්ථාපන අධිකරණ ඇමතුමා, ඒ වගේම විපක්ෂ නායක සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්මයා, ලංකාවේ අගවිනිසුරුතුමා, ඒ වගේම ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණ සියලුම විනිසුරුවරුන්, ඒ වගේම නීතිපතිතුමා, ජිනීවා ගිහිල්ලා මාවිඩු සටන් කර හරින් ප්‍රනාන්දු, මනුෂ්‍ය නානායක්කාර මැතිතුමා, ඒ වගේම ජනාධිපති ලේකම් සමන් ඒකනායක මැතිතුමා, අධිකරණ අමාත්‍ය ලේකම්තුමිය, ඒ වගේම බන්ධනාගාර කොමසාරිස් ජෙනරාල් තුෂාර උපුල්දෙනී මහත්මයා, ඒ වගේම ආව අඟුණකොළ සිට මෙහෙට ගෙන්නට උදව් කළ අලි සබ්රි අධිකරණ ඇමතුමා, ඒ වගේ මෙතන ඉන්න සියලුම දෙනා මාව වතුර බෝතලයක් හරි අරගෙන මාව බලන්න ආපු, කෑම නම් වැඩි හොඳ නැති ඉඳ කෑම නම් ආපු සියලුම දෙනා මට වචනකින් හරි උදව් උපකාර කරපු සියලුම රසික ජනතාවට, සියලුම නළු නිලියන්ට, කලාශේත්‍රයේ සියලුම කලාකරුවන්ට ඒ වගේම මගේ ආදරණීය ඡන්දය දුණු ජනතාවට අම්මැති මෙතන ඉන්නවා මරික්කාර ඉන්නවා සජිත් ඉන්නවා නලින් බඩාර මහත්තයා මුජොප් ඉන්නවා අපේ කාවින්ද ඉන්නවා හර්ෂද ඉන්නවා නෙක්ස්ට් ප්ලෑන් එක මල්ලි මම ස්වාධීන ඉන්නවා මම ජනතාවගේ පැත්තේ හැමදාම මෙලින් කතා කරලා තිත්ත ඇත්ත කතා කරලා අනිවාර්යයෙන් මාව මෙතනට ගෙනාවේ ජනතාව මම ඉන්නේ ජනතාවගේ පැත්තේ ඒ කවදාවත් ප්‍රශ්න නෑ
The Supreme Court deciding that Mr. Ranjin Ramanaika has made a statement defaming judges and attorneys at law after a meeting at the Temple Trees on the 21st of August 2017 sentenced him for a rigorous prison term of 4 years. Sending an affidavit to the Supreme Court, Mr. Ramanaika has apologized to the court. The affidavit has said that his statements were totally wrong and he requested to apologize for causing dishonor to all those in the legal field, including the Chief Justice. The affidavit has been sent to the Supreme Court judge bench led by the Chief Justice, stating that his statements were false and those statements would be withdrawn, and stating such statements will not be made in the future. The President's office said that the President has given the presidential pardon on conditions that no statement or action in contempt of the court will not be made in the future. Mr. Ranjin Ramanaika, who was released, went to Hunupite Gangarama temple from Valikada prison, took part in religious practices. Thereafter, he took part in a discussion at the opposition leader's office. Mr. Ranjin Ramanaika said that the assurance given by the President when he was the Prime Minister to free him has been honoured. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa has also played a leading role for his release.
ඒ පොරොන්දු ඉෂ්ට කරලා තිනවා ඒකට ස්තුතියි. ඒ වගේම අධිකරණ සහ බණ්ඩනාගාර පුනරුත්ථාපන අමාත්‍ය විජේදාස රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා මේකට මුල් වෙලා මට සමාව අරගෙන දෙන්නට සීල දේවල් කළේ එතුමා. සහ එතුමාගේ පුත්‍රයා රකිත රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයාවත් මතක් කරන්න.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that they are happy to see that Mr. Ranjin Ramanaika has been able to come out of prison and for being able to work freely. He has the opportunity to do social service freely and to successfully engage in his higher educational activities. Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that Sri Lanka's security forces should be armed with technical knowledge.
Now, the President expressed those views while attending the Colour Awards ceremony at Sir John Kotalawala Defence University yesterday. The President was accorded a Guard of Honour at the Kotalawala Defence University, and President Colour and University Flag Colour and the University Colours were awarded. Vice-Chancellor of the Kotalawala Defence University, Major General Malinda Piris, presented the university flags and colours.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the Sir John Kotalawala Defence University has received recognition from even outside Sri Lanka. It has displayed its capability as a defence university. A number of officials who fought at the war were products of the university. This university should be protected in the future as well. Several countries did not have defence universities. I have studied the syllabuses of the university which are of good standing. There are competent lecturers at the university. Most of the people have not understood the value of this university. Civil students have also been involved by the university. There are opportunities for many students to follow education. Therefore, I do not agree with the persons who criticize this. A military is based on leadership. A military cannot be maintained without discipline. However, it cannot be maintained only with discipline, but training is needed. Discipline and training should go together. A military will not be successful only with discipline and training. There must be knowledge, and it will be successful if there is knowledge. The leaders who come here are provided with discipline, training and knowledge. The Ministry of Defence has also launched not only the university but a college for staff officers to provide training. All universities should be protected. The war that we saw will not occur in the future. The world is changing. New technology and knowledge are being introduced. It is not limited to land, air or sea. There is cyber technology.
මෙතන ඉන්න නායකයින්ට විනයත් පුහුණුවත් දැනුවත් ලබා දෙනවා. එතනින් මේක ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න. දැන් විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි මේ පුහුණුව ලබා දෙන්න ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයේ මේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය පමණක් නෙමෙයි මාණ්ඩික නිලධාරීන්ට විද්‍යාලයක් ඇති කරලා තියෙනවා. ආරක්ෂක විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයක් ඇති කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ සියල්ලම විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ ආරක්ෂක අධ්‍යාපනයට උවමනා ආයතන. ඒ ආයතන සියල්ලම අපි ආරක්ෂා කරන්න ඕනේ. මොකද අපි දැක්ක යුද්ධ නෙමෙයි අනාගතයේ තියෙන්නේ. ලෝකෙ වෙනස් වෙනවා. අලුත් තාක්ෂණය එනවා. අලුත් දැනුම එනවා. යුද්ධ කරන්න විශේෂයෙන්ම බිමට, ගුවනට, මුහුදට සීමා වෙලා නැහැ. අජටාකාශයටත් සයිබර් තාක්ෂණයත් එනවා. ඒ වගේම හමුදාවක් ක්‍රියා කරනකොට දේශගුණ විපර්යාසය මතක තියාගෙන අනාගතයේ ක්‍රියා කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ දැනුම තමයි ඔබට උවමනා.
A memento was presented to the President. Minister Susil Premachayantha, President's Head of Staff, Sagala Ratnayaka, Defence Secretary Kamal Gunaratne, Chief of Defence Staff General Shavendra Silva, 3 Armed Forces commanders, the IGP, University Vice Chancellors and a group of people were present on the occasion. Thereafter, President Ranil Wickremesinghe viewed the museum at Sir John Kotalawala Ancestral Home.
Now, in the meantime, a discussion between President Ranil Wickremesinghe and the International Monetary Fund took place today at the Presidential Secretariat over Zoom technology. The President's Media Division has announced that the two parties exchanged views in a positive manner. Representatives of the IMF have requested to provide additional information, including the Electricity Bill Amendment and the Excise Act, for the discussion. The statement said it was agreed to provide relevant information by Monday. Financial and legal advisors of the IMF joined the discussion today. Another round of discussions is scheduled to be held on Wednesday. A group of senior officials, including head of the IMF, Peter Brewer, and his representatives, President's Head of Staff, Sagar Ratnayaka, President's Secretary, Ramanaika Naika, and Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, took part in the discussion.
France, Switzerland, Norway and United Kingdom have relaxed travel restriction imposed on Sri Lanka.
Now, issuing a Twitter message, Tourism Minister Harin Fernando thanked those countries. Several countries issued travel advisories against Sri Lanka due to protests and unrest from May. However, many countries have taken steps to amend travel advisories against Sri Lanka. Issuing a Twitter message, Minister Harin Fernando has appreciated the relaxing of travel restrictions by those countries. His message has said that he expected the tourism season to function well within the next few months due to their positive steps.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, says it is important to send money to the country through the state banking system amid the economic crisis. He mentioned this while attending the function to introduce Lanka Remittance national mobile application to overseas Sri Lankans by able to make remittances fast, securely and conveniently through the application. It can be used for electronic money change and to make electricity and water bills. It will also provide information about the nearest registration money exchange services and places of money exchange offices. Speaking on the occasion, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said that the money sent through banks has been increased due to the measures taken by the central bank.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, said that money remittances through methods such as Hawala and Undial had increased. Sri Lanka will not get those money when there is a foreign exchange crisis. Those methods are depending only on trust. Now, if a person needs, he can take it or he can flee. They can remain without paying. there had been such opportunities. Now, if that happens, there is no one to be informed because that method is not under regulations. There is no reason to send money like that when there is a facility under regulation. There is no risk if money can be sent to a family member using a smartphone and through an exchange. They will also get the market value for the money.
Minister Manush Ranjin said that most service suppliers, including money exchange services providers and global financial innovators, can join the app. Minister Manush Ranjin said that at present there is not much of a difference of the dollar value outside and in the black market. We will be able to bring down what is needed by December. If we undergo difficulties for few more months, we will be able to bring down essential items. We will be able to live with hope that the country can move forward by next year. Our reporters say that there are queues again near filling stations in suburb areas.
Now, the Petroleum Distributors Association said that the situation has occurred as they are not receiving sufficient quantities of fuel. Now, queues could be seen near the filling stations in Colombo and its environment from yesterday. The Petroleum Distributors Association said that disputes occurred when filling stations which were expecting 92-octane petrol were provided with 95-octane petrol. Deputy Chairman of the Petroleum Distributors Association, Kusum Sandanaika, said that there is a reduction of fuel received by filling stations island-wide. There is no problem with QR code, but the problem is the shortage of fuel received. He requested the public to refrain from getting into clashes.
QR code එකේ කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. QR code එක ඉතාම සාර්ථකයි. අපි පිරෝමහල් හැමියන් හැටියට අපි ඒක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන හැම මොහොතේම සැදී පැහැදී තිබෙනවා. නමුත් QR code එකට අවශ්‍ය තෙල් ප්‍රමාණය කනිදෙල් සංස්ථාවටත් ලංකා IOC සමාගමට ලබා දීමට තියෙන නොහැකියාව තමයි මේ අවස්ථාවේ ඇතුළත තියෙන ගැටලුව මේ තරම් දුරට ගිහිලා තියෙන්නේ. පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට අපිට මේ යම්කිසි ප්‍රමාණයක් තමයි ලැබෙන්නේ. අපි දන්නා මෝටර් සයිකලයක ලැබෙන ප්‍රමාණය, කාර් එකක ලැබෙන ප්‍රමාණය. ඉතින් මේ ප්‍රමාණයත් ඉතාමත් හොඳින් කළමනාකරණය කරලා අපේ රට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මුහුණ දීලා තියෙන මේ අවසනාවන්ත කාලයෙන් ඉදිරියට යන්න සියලු දෙනාගේම සහයෝගය රජයටත් ඒ වගේම අපි තියෙන කල්චරල් සංස්ථාවටත් ලංකා IOC සමාගමටත් ඒ වගේ සියලුම පිරෝමහල් වලටත් කලකෝලහ ඇති නොකරගෙන මේ ගමන ඉදිරියට යනවා.
The UNICEF says they will work continuously with Sri Lanka at this difficult moment.
Now, the UNICEF said that it has allocated additional $25 million for programs in Sri Lanka. A senior delegation of UNICEF headed by South Asia Regional Director George Laya Ajay met Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena recently. Now, the Prime Minister requested the UNICEF to increase aid given to women in low-income recipient families in rural and urban areas and for children. Now, the projects provide clean drinking water, stationery for children's education and other essential items. Prime Minister's Secretary Anuradha Dissanayake and UNICEF Sri Lanka representative Christian Coog and a group were present on the occasion. Now, a function to hand over water bowsers took place under the patronage of the Prime Minister at the Sri Lanka Administrative Institute in Colombo. 35 water bowsers were handed over on the occasion. Now, the Prime Minister said that steps will be taken to create self-sufficient villages by giving priority for food production.
Sri Lanka Potujana Peramuna says that there are groups which will never join an all-party government with the aim of getting political gains.
Now, a group of representatives of the party revealed this to media after a meeting yesterday. Parliamentarian Sagar Karyavasam said that it was a former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa who first put forward a suggestion for an all-party government. Now, the former president held an all-party summit with the aim of establishing an all-party government Other political parties, however, did not honestly respond at that time for the proposal. It's a new situation now with a new president, and he is making efforts again. As a party, we have informed that all attempts to uplift the country's economy by establishing an all-party government will be supported. It will be possible in the future to see whether other parties are honestly supporting the move. Now, 1,000 metric tons of urea fertilizer given free of charge to the farmers by the World Food and Agriculture Organization will reach the country within the next 2 weeks. The World Food and Agriculture Organization has agreed to provide 375,000 farmers who have less than 1 acre of paddy with 50 kilograms of urea fertilizer each free of charge. It has been agreed to provide urea fertilizer for the Maha season after a discussion between Minister Mahinda Amaravira and officials of the FAO. Meanwhile, the minister said that 1.4 million families will be given a subsidy of 18,000 rupees each to cultivate moon beans with the aim of improving the nutritional level of low-income recipient families led by women. The FAO will provide the financial subsidy for the farmer families led by women in Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Monaragala, Ampara and Hambantota districts. Now, the Chinese government has set up scholarships for talented students and scholars to pursue higher education or conduct research in Chinese universities. Now, this is in order to strengthen mutual understanding and friendship between the Chinese and people around the world. Now, this is also to promote China's exchange and cooperation with other countries in various fields. The China Scholarship Council, entrusted by China's Ministry of Education, is responsible for the admission, enrollment and administration of Chinese government scholarship recipients. There are over 400,000 foreign students studying in China. More than 49,000 of them are supported by Chinese government scholarships. Over 60% of the scholarship students are from the Belt and Road countries. The Chinese Government Scholarship Awarding Ceremony 2022-2023 was held today at the China Cultural Center in Colombo to celebrate the achievements of 17 scholars from Sri Lanka. In addition, many institutions and different provincial governments in China provide scholarship opportunities for Sri Lankan students. It is hoped that the youth of the two countries will maintain exchanges and become a bridge of friendship between China and Sri Lanka.
Veteran literary person and chartered engineer Ajantha Senaviratne has been appointed as the Director General of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Mr. Senaviratne has obtained engineering degree from the University of Moratuwa and master's degree in business administration from Sri Jayawardhanapura University. He has published 19 books, including 9 novels, 3 short stories, 2 poetry books and 1 Buddhist philosophy book and a book related to marketing. He has translated a book moved by Chinese into Sinhala. Mr. Senaviratne has worked as the CEO of the Sri Lanka Telecom, POTV and the Chief Marketing Officer of Sri Lanka Telecom. He was the Chief Executive Officer of the ITN. That's it on local news. Coming up next is international news. Taking a look at your international stories. More than 33 million people have been affected by historic rains and floods that have swept Pakistan, the country's climate minister said.
Now, since June, more than 900 people have died in monsoon rains and floods that continue to break weather records. Pakistan's climate minister said that the government was battling with a climate-induced humanitarian disaster of epic proportions. the government has called for additional international aid. Climate Minister further said that the country was now going through its 8th monsoon cycle, while normally the country only has 3 to 4 cycles of rain. She also said that the percentages of superflood tolerance are shocking. Since the summer season began, multiple monsoon cycles have lashed Pakistan, causing huge floods that have destroyed over 400,000 homes across the country.
In different ways,
the months-old James Webb Space Telescope has added another major scientific discovery to its growing list, detecting for the first time sign of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of a planet outside our solar system. James Webb captures first clear evidence of carbon dioxide in atmosphere of WASP-39b, a gas giant closely orbiting a sun-like star 700 light-years away, NASA says. The scientists say that now they really do have a chance to detect the atmosphere of terrestrial-sized planets. Although the exoplanet would never be able to support life, the successful discovery of carbon dioxide gives researchers hope that similar observations could be carried out on rocky objects more hospitable to the life.
Now shifting focus to California. Now California is to ban the sale of new petrol-only vehicles by 2035, marking a historic step in the state's attempt to tackle climate change. Now the new rules are aimed to force car makers to accelerate the introduction to the market of cleaner vehicles. It comes after Governor of California set a target in 2020 to speed up the shift away from fossil fuels. The move is important as California is the most populous state in the US and one of the world's biggest economies. Under the rules issued by the California Air Resources Board, 35% of new vehicles sold in the state must be electric, hybrid or hydrogen powered by 2026. Now, the regulations would apply to 68% of vehicle sales by 2030 and 100% by 2035. Officials of the California Air Resources Board said the move was a historic moment for California, for their partner states and for the world as they set forth a path towards a zero-emission future.
Terima Kutumi Pantan.
Taking a look at your sports news, the Asian Cup Cricket Tournament is scheduled to begin tomorrow at the United Arab Emirates. The first match of the series will be played between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan.
India has won the highest number of championships in the Asia Cup history. India plays in the A group at this tournament, while Pakistan and Hong Kong are other teams in the group. Sri Lanka plays in the B group, which includes Bangladesh and Afghanistan.
Terima Kutumi Pantan.
And that's a wrap of tonight's primetime news bulletin here at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. And until we meet again next time, do take care, stay safe and good night.